Time. It's the one thing we all understand, right? The past is behind us. The future lies ahead. Cause comes before effect. Simple. But what if I told you there's a point where all of that breaks down? Where does time itself stop making sense? We experience time as a river flowing in one direction. You drop a glass and it shatters. You can't unshatter it. You get older, never younger. Every moment leads inevitably to the next. This feels so natural, so obvious, that we barely question it. Until we start asking one simple question. What if we could go backward? Here's where time stops making sense. Imagine you receive a message from your future self. It contains tomorrow's lottery numbers. You play them, you win. Years later, you send those same numbers back to your past self. Pause. Where did those numbers come from? Not from the lottery, you knew them before it happened. Not from you, you received them from yourself. They exist in a closed circle of causation, an effect that causes itself. Information with no source. It gets worse. Let's say you read in a history book that a time traveler appeared in 1889 and gave encouragement to a young artist. That artist became famous. You decide to be that time traveler. You go back to 1889, find the artist, and encourage them exactly as the history book describes. But you only went back because the history book said you did. And the history book only said it because you went back. You're not making a choice. You're fulfilling a loop that has no beginning. Did you have free will? Or were you always going to do this because it already happened? Drop a comment with your take. If you got a message from your future self, would you send it back to your past self and seal the loop, or refuse and break the circle? In our everyday experience, causes always come before effects. You flip a switch, then the light turns on. You plant a seed, then a tree grows. But in a time loop, the effect can come before the cause, or rather, it becomes impossible to tell which is which. The loop exists, complete and eternal, with no starting point and no end point. Physics makes it even stranger. According to quantum mechanics, particles can exist in multiple states at once until observed. Now add time travel to that. You could exist and not exist simultaneously. You could be born and never born in the same timeline. Reality itself would have to split, merge, or simply refuse to resolve into anything coherent. At this point, our intuitions about time completely collapse. Past, present, and future become meaningless labels for something far more complex. If you love mind-bending explorations like this, hit subscribe for more videos that challenge how we think about reality. Some physicists suggest effects might genuinely influence their own causes. A decision you make tomorrow might reach back and influence what happened yesterday. Not through time travel, but through the fundamental structure of reality itself. If true, then causation isn't a chain, it's a web, stretching in all directions through time with no clear beginning or end. The future shapes the past as much as the past shapes the future. This is the heart of the paradox. Time travel doesn't just bend physics, it breaks logic itself. It creates situations where something can exist and not exist. A choice can be both free and predetermined. An event can cause itself. The future can create the past that created the future. Our language, our thinking, our entire framework for understanding reality falls apart. Maybe time travel is impossible not because we lack the technology, but because the universe cannot allow logical contradictions to exist. Reality might be fundamentally allergic to paradox. Or maybe time doesn't work the way we think at all. Maybe past, present, and future are all equally real, all existing simultaneously in a block universe where change is an illusion and free will is a comforting story we tell ourselves. This is the moment time stops making sense. Not when we run the equations, not when we build the machine, but when we truly confront what it would mean to break causation itself. If time is the foundation of logic, causation, and meaning, what happens to everything we believe when that foundation cracks?